Hey guys, John Davis here. I want to talk to you today. Now, I have a list of questions over here that you guys are sending in, and I will get to them, but today it's not going to be that. Today is me going to talk about you and your personal power. Especially in the metaphysical communities like we're in right now, there's a million readers, there's a million tarot card readers, there's a million mediums, there's a million channels, there's a million coaches, there's a million of them. If those people are not saying that they are equal with you or humble, like Kim Carey, like David Johnson, these are people who literally are saying, I have honed a skill that we all have. Amazing, amazing. On the flip side of this, there's a lot of psychics, mediums, channels, so on and so forth out there that have these incredible stories that they have created around their experiences. And it sounds funny that I'm saying that because I have an incredible story around my experience. But in no way, shape, or form do I think of myself as better than anybody. In fact, I think it's antithetical to the teachings. We are all equal. We are all the same. We are all going through the same experiences. We are all going through the experience of life, and we're in this life thing together, right? But when people start to set themselves apart and set themselves above, what happens is there creates an imbalance, right? I was recently asked to come on a podcast, and in the initial conversation, the initial email, the person wanted to confront and challenge who I was, what I believed, and in the email, flat out told me that I was wrong for what I was doing, and I looked at it, and all I could think was, I feel so sorry for that person because they're lost in their own story. They're lost in the idea that I need to put people down, and I'm the teacher, and they're the student. I learn from you guys every day. I look at these questions and I learn from you every day. I'm so blessed in my life to have the opportunity to have so many great teachers asking me questions because as you ask me questions, I go, whoa. And then sometimes it even sparks memories that I've forgotten about, that I had seen before, but I never really tapped into the true meaning. And so to me, this is an amazing community, amazing back and forth that we have. But I'm not better than you. I'm not higher than you. I'm not in any way, shape, or form putting myself in that position. But there's a lot of the people out there who will. There's a lot of the people out there who will put you in your place. And just the mere fact that they're setting themselves on a pedestal limits your power. It limits your ability to step up. There's a quote that I use all the time, and you won't find it in a book anywhere because this is a quote that I heard from a friend of mine a long time ago. And it says, when you seek for a path will be laid before you. But it's only in realizing that you're creating the path, that you turn that path back to yourself and go through your own door, that you experience and live what you're looking for. That's a huge statement. It's a huge statement, right? And if you think about this, people say, I'm looking for a path. And they go out and they find the next psychic who says, well, you need to do my 7-step breathing process to reach enlightenment. And then they go, oh my God, I finally found it. Oh, wow, I'm so excited. And they're freaking out. A couple weeks go by and it doesn't work, right? Life is simple. Life is so clear and simple. And, people will give you things just to give you things. Somebody emailed me the other day, told me I should do online courses and done. I'm like, it would be a page or half a page. Love one another, be love. Period. Repeat step 1. right? That's really the lesson. Be and live love fearlessly. Be and live love without the encumbrance of fear. And when you're going to someone else who's telling you what you should do, right? And if you want to break it down right now, I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm just giving you information. I truly believe that each of us is on our own journey and we must follow what's in our heart. I listen to what Buddha says when he says, believe no one, even me, unless it rings true to your own heart. I believe that because I think that in this creative experience, we have illusion of our own. What we perceive as our belief, and each one of us are believing different things. I don't see the world the same way anybody else sees this world, and you don't see the world the way anybody else sees the world, because we're all experiencing life from our own perspectives, and our own perspectives are unique. We all have unique, interesting perspectives. But what I'm most gratified with in this community that we're creating, I get messages almost daily from people who tell me they knew this, that they already knew it. It's what they've already believed. And they've been waiting for someone to say it. I've gotten that one too, which I think is interesting, because that in itself says that they needed somebody else to say it so that they could feel that it's right, because they didn't trust themselves. That's so interesting to me. Because it's all about that empowerment. It's all about trusting yourself. It's all about loving your own innate senses. And love in general is the core essence of what the world, universe, God, us is. And when we get into this space of living in that pure essence, then you suddenly realize that you don't need someone to subjugate you. You don't need someone to tell you that they are blankety, blankety, blank. I am a third practitioner of the seventh order of, Reiki magic. And don't get me wrong, I'm not in any way, shape, or form belittling Reiki or anything else. I'm just saying words right now. I see. That's an interesting thing, is that the belief is what's important. Reiki to me is an amazing tool, and I'll tell you why I think it's an amazing tool. And this actually goes into a question that I got from someone the other day about the free will and prayer, which I think is an interesting topic. Let's just go right into it. What did he say? So the question is praying for someone subjugating their free will? And the answer to me is no. Positive intention towards someone is a good thing. They're the one who has to take it. They're the one who has to accept it, right? They're the one who has to be empowered for it. This whole conversation is about empowerment. Who's empowered? We can pray. I truly believe that there are no healers. That sounds like a very weird statement, right? However, I do believe that that you can bring intention to a space and change the experience. I also know from experience that you can come to a place with intention to help someone heal, but nothing will happen until that person accepts the healing. There's the famous story of Jesus walking through the crowd, and the woman reaches out and touches his robe and is healed. And he spins around and says, "Who touched me?" And he tells her flat out, "It's your faith that heals you." Right? It's your faith that heals you. Because prayer is intention, right? You're not subjugating their free will, because you're not forcing anything on them. And no reader, psychic, medium, channel, coach, teacher, professor, no one should be able to subjugate you. No one should be able to force you to do anything. It literally comes down to you. Now, I'll tell you an interesting experience that I had many years ago. In the Bible, there's a quote that says, "When two or more are gathered in my name, there so am I." I think that is the nature of healing. If you can heal yourself but through intention and belief, but when two or more come together and put that same intention and belief in the same direction, much more powerful, much easier to get to the healing. And sometimes I find that our subconscious selves, our higher selves, are a little bit more in tune with the game than we are. And I'll tell you a reason why. At some point, I'll dive into some of the other mystical experiences and metaphysical experience, mystical/metaphysical experiences that I've had. I think they're more true to my nature. I think they're more a natural experience that we all can have. But I one time everyone knew about my past life. This was many years ago, and I was still performing at Renaissance festivals. I was doing a show, and I became friend with a guy, and his girlfriend knew all about my past life and everything. And she was also a tarot card reader, and she wanted to give me a reading. She was so excited about giving me a reading. So after one of the shows one day, I went out and we sat down. Now, I knew going into this reading that she was dying of cancer. She looked healthy, she looked great, but she had been giving a diagnosis that she had less than 6 months. And so I sat down with her, and I think touch is beautiful. I think being able to touch, and I figured if I could get there with intention and just have positive intention, and just give as much loving energy towards her healing in that moment was great. So I sat down, and she's reading. I said, "Do you mind if I hold your hand while we do this?" She said, "No." So there's just holding her hand, and we're talking. She's telling me all this stuff, and it was a pretty good reading. It was not bad. And the interesting thing was, during her reading, I could hear her higher self talking. This was the first time this had ever happened. I could hear it talking, and I said through my higher self, "Do you want to let it go?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, then let's just pass it out. Let's just pass it out of here, right?" And she said, "Okay." And I felt this huge rush of energy. It's like, boom, right out the crown chakra. It was gone. Well, we finished the readings and everything, and we all went on our merry way. Well, a week went by. I was back on stage performing, and I finished the show. And when I finished the show, I walk up the center aisle to go out and meet the audience at the back. And I'm walking up the aisle. At the top of the aisle is her boyfriend, and he's holding a phone. He says, "Talk to her." I'm like, "Hello?" She says, "What did you do to me?" I said, "What do you believe happened?" She says, "I believe I'm healed." I said, "Then that's what happened, right?" She tried to push it onto me, saying I healed her. It wasn't what happened. What happened was we came together with intention, and together we released this ailment. She was cancer-free. And it had nothing to do with my power. It had everything to do with her power. And I just came there with intention to help, right? And that's what prayer is. Anybody can go there with intention to help. If you see someone who's got a problem, go there. Intend. You don't have to talk about it in a physical form. You don't even have to say it out loud if you don't want to. Because things are happening on various levels. You can go there and actively think it, and you'll be surprised that you'll get answers. You'll get people. You'll hear voices that'll tell you, and hearing voices, they say, is crazy. But this was a situation where I heard the voice, and the week later she had no cancer. But it wasn't me; it was her. She took that energy. I went with intention. That's what this is about. We all need to be going with intention to do good, to do love, to express love, to give love to the world, to give love to each other. Once we give love to each other, we change the world. We turn it into this incredible space. Now, let me tell you what I think about where we are right now. And I think I've said this before, but I just want to really reiterate it. We are at the precipice of the most amazing time this world has ever seen. And the veil is getting thinner. Our fears are getting subjugated. They're going away. They're clearing out, right? That's why you're seeing these crazy. That's why most of us are looking at what's going on around us and going, wow, these people are freaking out, and they're saying the craziest stuff. The crazier they get, the less fear there is in the world. Because the crazier they get, people start to realize they're crazy. They're just nuts. And people fall away. People start to go away from them because they're being exposed for who they are. You know, there's an old quote that's attributed to Socrates. You know, when the debate is lost, slander becomes the tool of the loser. When the debate is lost, slander becomes the tool of the loser. They're lost. And so they're lashing out and they're calling names. Loser. You know, they're saying those things. You know, they're calling people, low lifes, and all that stuff. That's them having lost. That's them fighting to hold on. The world is getting more and more loving and caring. You know, look around the world right now. This whole push towards green renewable energy. What is the point behind that? To save the world. Right? To create a loving and sustainable place. Now, think about that for a second. Now, think about back in the 70s, they tried to do electric cars, and the oil companies stopped it. But now, you drive down the road, and you can see a Tesla everywhere. And you can see Tesla power stations everywhere. We have shifted into a whole new place. We've shifted into a whole new world. And we're also lucky to be here now to experience these changes, because right now it is empowering. You know, and we think about this: one person can change an experience. If it weren't for Elon Musk, who said, "I'm going to do this," and then go out and do it, we might not have the experiences that we have right now. But now everyone's trying to compete because he's kicking butt, right? All it takes is one person. All it takes is one person. And you're that one person. Make your part of the world loving and caring. Make your little piece of this energetic planet we live on. Make your part charged up. Make your part, glowing with love. And what happens? You have a bright light that everyone is attracted to. And they come to you, and the people who are attracted to it for bad reasons, they get there and they just can't handle how bright it is. And then they either go away or they start to shine themselves. Now, here's the biggest key to this secret. People are attracted to positive things. People are repelled by negative things eventually. At first, they come out against negative things to fight against it. But over the course of time, they get, I'm just sick of doing this, and they leave. But the more positive the experience is, the more positive you create around you, the more you build a community of positive around you, and the more that positive grows and gets out there, it changes everything. Don't give away your power to anybody else, especially if when they're talking to you, they're telling you how much more powerful they are than you, how much more they know than you. That is not power. That is fear. They're afraid of not being loved. They're using that power. They're addicted to that power that they've created. And I often say that Jeshua never wanted to be deified. He would have much preferred the lessons to have been learned and he forgotten. But that was the problem that happened to him, was they got too involved in him and they built everything around him. But it wasn't about him. It was about what he was teaching. And you have the ability to take what he taught and the Buddha taught and that Krishna taught, because they all taught the same thing. Take these universal truths and live them in your life so that we can make these positive changes. Empower yourself. Listen to your heart. When somebody makes you, if your body says, I feel like weaker than this person, or I feel like a student to the point where they're lording their intelligence. I mean, there's always going to be people who know more than us about certain topics, but guess what? You know more than them about other topics. There's there's nobody in this earth, on this planet, who has all of the information. We all have our pieces and parts of the information, and as a collective whole, we are one. And you need to look at this collective whole as something that is not filled with people, not filled with peaks and valleys. There aren't people who are down really low and really high. Even the people who are lost in their fears, there's an experience in there that they are living, right? You can think poorly of them, and you should think poorly of them if they're harming others, okay? But if you look at them person and you go and you decide that they're living that experience. I don't know how many of you in this who listen to this don't like driving or get angry at cars who cut you off and all that stuff. But if you take a moment when that car cuts you off and just say, God, I feel sorry for them that they feel so anxious that they have to rush like that. Boy, is that a different perspective. Boy, is that a different perspective, because now you're living love and empathy, as opposed to, how dare they cut me off, right? That is your fear of not being respected, not being loved. So start to look at your outer experience and live from your personal power. Don't give your personal power away to anybody, especially not me, because I don't want followers. I just want people to hear messages, and then I want them to make their own assessment as to whether it's true or not, and whether they want to live it or not. And that is the point of John of New. Now, I want to end this with a personal story. I have had somebody ask me why John of New, and they think, well, of course, because of the past life, da-da-da. There's a very specific reason why I call the channel John of New. Years ago, when I first started learning about my past life, I was working with someone who would channel Jeshua occasionally, and I mean truly channel. There's a lot of people in the world who claim they channel Jeshua. This person, as they channeled, their face would change, and I would have like full-blown experiences, just like the regression in real time with this person. And the first time she ever channeled, and the first time she was humble at that time. She eventually did get lost, but the first time that she did channel, the first words he said to me in this life, and I put it that way, the first words he said to me in this life were, John of old, John of new. I love you. I've always loved you. I will always love you. I'm with you. I've always been with you. I will always be with you. Those were the first words, John of old, John of new. So when I look at those first words, John of old, John of new, John of new is John Davis. John of old is John Johannes ben Zebedee, right? John the beloved, John son of Zebedee. That's who that was. And I remember those experiences. Who I am now is what matters. Who you are now is what matters. So I'm John of New because I'm John Davis, and I never want anybody to think that I'm John the Beloved. I have memories from that. I have experiences from that. I have knowledge from that. But I'm John Davis, and I'm a fallible man, and I have all of the same worries and anxieties as anybody else has ever had. I am going through my own daily struggles with various things, and I am also finding my way to that loving source. And I think that it's important that you know that I'm just like you. As Jeshua is just like you, greater works than I have done. You will do is what he said to us, right? Wash our feet, right? So go out in the world and empower yourself. That's all I ask. That's all you should ask of yourself as well. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.